Hi friends, it's been a hot minute since I've been here. Today we're going to talk about what's happened since I last got on here and over the holiday season and going forward, what I'm planning on doing with the new year. So over the holiday season, I had a goal I set a budget for the holidays for each gift, and I kind of had a loose goal around spending. Things got really hairy. I did stick to the budget on the gifts, but not so much on the other spending. And that is because there were two things in the back of my mind. I knew what I wanted the balance in our checkbook to be at the beginning of the year and what I wanted our net worth to be. I had set a goal for like what I call the moon and what I call the stars, and we surpassed the moon goal this year. So that's the whole shoot for the moon, you'll hit the stars. And I'm sorry if you hear, my husband is so precious, but he sings really off key, really loud when he's working, and he has his headphones on and he has no idea how loud he is. So if you hear him in the background, that's Jim. I call him Cowboy. Okay, so long story short, we were able to make some decisions, and I had a realization that I'd like to share with you. One of my friends is going through a rough time. She used to be very comfortable financially, and she helped me a lot when I needed it. And she's going through a hard time right now. And she said, Courtney, I don't have to worry about these things you're worrying about. Because I was asking her, like, how do I be fair with my 6 kids, And I want to do this for one, but, one really needs it and one needs something else. And long story short, she said, well, I don't have that choice. And I thought, you know what, that's it. It's a choice for me. There are times where I haven't had a choice, but I had a choice this year. And so because our goal was to have a certain amount in the checking account, I had a fight with a knife, and to have a certain amount of net worth, we surpassed that. So I and my husband decided to do a little more. We had a couple of big things come up with family members who needed some extra help due to no fault of their own, and we were able to help them. And we still stayed within our goal. So I kind of revamped things a little bit, but I don't feel bad about it. And actually, one thing I will do in the future is I'm going to turn this heater off. It came on automatically. Having a budget for the presents was super helpful to me, and sticking to that and giving my husband a budget for presents as well. That was great. So going forward, one thing I'd like to say is if you like this content, please give it a thumbs up and like. It helps the channel. I am not monetized, but it helps get the information out. I am doing New Year's a little different. I am 53. At the age of 30, my New Year's goal was to be a better listener. I feel like I've been working on that for 23 years. I don't take goals lightly, and I kind of I heard someone said, work on the process, like work on the process of what you're doing, focus less on the goal. And I thought about that. And so for me, working on consistent process, for me, I feel like a lot of things I've achieved in my life, a 30-pound weight loss, better health overall. I had some really big scares with rheumatoid arthritis, and I was born with a heart murmur. I have 2 leaky valves, and I have high pressure in my heart due to a medication. After I had the virus and the pandemic, I went into I was in beginning stages of heart failure. And so all I knew to do, I was a little overweight, was to lose weight. I went into a really strict diet, and I was able to do that. And the reason I was able to do that was not about motivation. It was about consistency. I consistently exercised what I could do depending on how my health was, because I was really sick for a while. I consistently ate healthy meals and drank water. Did I sometimes eat something that wasn't very healthy, like a piece of birthday cake? Yes, at someone's birthday. But 98% of the time I was making the healthy choice for years. And so my goal is to focus on the processes this year to reach the progress. Okay. I don't have a weight goal. I don't even know what I weigh right now. I know what I've maintained a weight for so long, but I'm just focusing on the process, making a good decision at the next meal, continuing. So I have worked out about 5 days a week for years now, 5 to 6 days a week. I try to do 30 minutes. Generally, I was doing yoga and like just some HIIT videos. Well, with my autoimmune, I've discovered I can't do HIIT as much. So I've been doing 3 days of strength training, 10 to 20 minutes. And I plan on continuing that. Because of my age, as we get older, we lose muscle mass. I wanted to increase my strength training. So that is something that I'm going to be working on. I'll also purchase some passes at a local health club that has yoga and strength training classes. And I'm going to try to go there twice a month to some kind of class in addition to working out at home. That's not really just for physical benefit. That is to get me out of the house. I live in a very rural part of Arkansas, to give me socialization, to help me push myself to do things I wouldn't do, to get my mind more active and engaged. So that is one goal I have. So buying those passes. As far as money goes, when you are young, you're in the accumulation stage. You're getting a house and a car and all the things you need to do life, right? Well, my husband and I are more at the maintenance stage now. I mean, not to say those things you might move but I don't need a bigger house. My kids are gone. I went from a bigger house to a smaller house. We're at the maintenance stage of life. So right now we're focusing on the low-hanging fruit. It's the shorter time of the year for us, or slower time of the year for us. In the winter, we always slow down because we're in construction. And so my husband's out there right now working on a gate. Yesterday he was filling holes on the farm. We'll be working on things that we can do ourselves. I am going to be working on looking, every time a bill comes in, I'm going to look at it and say, how can I get this to be less? We recently got better internet out here. We've been on rural internet, and it has run us about $210 a month for our house and our little guest house. And we recently got a new promotion. It will be $60 a month per house. So that will save us $90. But the promotion for the first year is $20 the first 6 months, $30 the following 6 months, and then $60 a month. So it's going to save us a lot of money. So I'm going to be working on things like that. Our homeowners and auto insurance, we just redid all of that in August. I probably won't mess with that. The phones, I got us on a family plan at the end of last year. But I'm just going to be looking at everything and trying to come up with ways to save. I'm not doing a no-buy, but I am spending money only where I find value. Like, I'm not consciously, I don't eat fast food. I'm watching a lot of these videos on low buys and no buys, and I'm realizing like I've done that so much that I just have these habits naturally. Like, my activities are reading, hiking, maybe going to a class. Those are cheap. Occasionally going to a matinee. We don't go out to eat expensive restaurants very often. But I do value, like today, my friend that's kind of struggling, we went out to, she's looking for a job. We went out to lunch, and I had the money to buy lunch, and I wanted to do that for her because she did it for me when I was struggling. And I value that. Like, I don't have any problem doing that. But in other news, my husband and I had $1 off of gas, and he met me at the gas station, and we filled, because you could get 30 gallons in both we have two CRVs, and they both have like 12-gallon tanks. So we were able to fill up both cars for like $1.59 a gallon. So we are constantly being mindful of savings. So for me, it will be, is it a want or is it a need? If it's a want, does this add value to my life? Do I have something that already fits this need? And the other thing that, last year we did kind of spend a lot of money on some experiences. I say a lot, it's relative, like not like we didn't do any big grand vacations or anything like that. But this year I think about things like we were talking about doing a 2-week vacation. And the more I thought about it, I thought, I'm ready to come home in 4 days most of the time. Like, I can't think of a vacation I've ever been on that after 4 days I wasn't ready to go home. So I'm going to look at our calendar, and I'm going to make a list and come up with the vacations, things we want to do, places we want to go, and then I'll talk to the house sitter and see what she can do. But I thought about maybe taking fewer or taking more small vacations rather than a couple of long vacations. On vacations, I always set a budget for transportation, wherever we stay, the Airbnb or whatever. And sometimes I'll just be like, well, if we go there for 4 days instead of a week, we can spend more on the accommodations. We can have a nicer vehicle if we rent a car, whatever. We can spend more on the experiences. And to be honest with you, most of the experiences that my husband and I like to do don't cost a lot of money because we're not into like theme parks or anything expensive. We generally like to go to parks, kind of recreational type things, floating rivers, stuff like that. So we generally only do like 1 or 2 excursion event type things. So I'm just kind of making a tentative plan. Things always come up and change, right? But I'm going to make a tentative plan for our travel this year. For family and friends, I just want to show up. Like, I feel like I tell my kids this all the time with their own kids. Like, the best thing you can do for family is show up, be there. For my family and friends, when they have something going on, I just want to be there for them and support them. For fun, again, most everything we do is free or cheap. There is one thing I will leave you with that I want to do. I have taken out an Audible subscription for 4 months for like $5.45. I plan on listening to some self-help books for my own spiritual and mental, emotional growth. I listen to podcasts on the same subject. The other thing I want to do is start a group called a FI group, Financial Independence Group, where we do meetups. I was looking at going to some conferences on financial independence. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, basically because they are in places, big cities. I would have to go alone. I don't know where to stay. I don't know how to travel. Sometimes that makes me a little nervous, and I don't really want to pay for someone else to go with me right now. I may do one of them. There's one I really want to go to called Economy, and I'm trying to figure out the details on how to do that. But the last thing I want to mention is I'm going to come back on here in a couple weeks. I'll be there. I might be here before then and talk about something really big that I'm letting go of. Sometimes when we're making goals and making processes, it's not so much what we want to do more of, but sometimes we need to let go of something. And I'm going to be letting go of something really big and really life-changing. And it's not something that I take lightly because I've been thinking about this for a very long time. And I don't want to share it quite yet, but I will let you know when I'm able to announce it publicly. What are you doing for your New Year's? If you like this content, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you so much. Bye-bye.